Hello tanks and tankettes, and welcome to not the video I thought I'd be doing today. I thought I'd be doing the first of my premium preview videos because there are two upcoming premium tanks that are going to be introduced into the game, as well as a reward tank. So we've got a tier 8, a tier 6, the first of the Czechoslovakian tanks, and a tier 10 Russian medium reward tank. It's not a premium, it's a reward. But instead, I'm going to talk about packages, because I saw a thing on the World of Warships launcher today. The Warspite is back in the game shop for a week for €50 for a tier 6 ship, and I've reached the point where I'm fed up with these packages, and I know I'm not the only one. So instead of showing you a preview of these three tanks, I'm going to talk about packages for a while instead. It's going to be a very talky video. We're just going to be looking at the garage as a background. And if that sounds incredibly boring to you, then yes, I don't blame you. This is talking about the state of the game. It's not talking about fun things like, you know, actual gameplay. So this isn't a new phenomenon. We have actually had packages in one form or the other for quite a long time, and it's usually been connected to events, Christmas events, anniversary events even. And that's fair enough. I mean, the kind of first example of this really was the Berlin Quartet tanks, and it was tied to the anniversary of the Battle of Berlin. I almost said Berlin there. And I thought, okay, that's fair enough. These are premium versions of tanks that are already in the game. It's tied to a particular historical event, and therefore, the fact that these were on sale for a limited time, the fact that they were in packages. In fact, I think you could buy them as is. I don't think you had to buy them in a package that had gold and stuff in. But I can't remember exactly. I might be wrong about that. They might have thrown in stuff. But I thought that was perfectly fair enough. You know, that kind of package that is tied to a particular event. But ever since then, in both World of Warships and World of Tanks, we have increasingly seen these premiums being introduced that aren't available in-game, and they're not planned to ever be available in-game. They're only ever going to be available as part of limited time sales on the website gift shop. And as part of that, Wargaming is significantly bumping up the prices by throwing in things like a month of premium and a bunch of gold and, you know, things like a garage slot and whatever else they deem to be appropriate. And the thing is, most people just want the tank. If you're somebody that is fully prepared to just drop money on buying a tier 8 that comes out that's new, then you probably already have lots of premium time, and you probably already have lots of gold, and you probably don't really want those. And as these are digital goods, as it costs them nothing in terms of, you know, manufacturing or whatever to actually include extra stuff in the packages, then it's just getting to the point of being absurd. It starts to feel like you're being gouged. And I have a theory as to why we're suddenly getting a lot of these limited time only offers that are significantly inflated in price. But we'll get to that in a moment. Now, I'm first going to talk a little bit about the model of World of Tanks anyway, because even the base prices we're talking about in this game are not particularly cheap. Tier 8 premiums in particular are not cheap. If this was just coming into the game in a regular form, you know, if it was going to be of what was previously the standard pattern and what probably will be the pattern for the Skoda T40, in that it's available for a patch only through the website gift shop, and from then on out it is available in-game. But you know, for something like a tier 8, that's still not cheap. That's still easily 10,000 plus gold. And that equates to, what, 25, 30 euros? I'd have to look up the prices exactly, but I can look at the website gift shop and see that 10,000 gold exactly costs, at least on the EU server, just over £26, which is, what, 30 odd euros? So these are not particularly cheap items for digital goods. And World of Tanks, I think, because of the kind of player base it's got an older player base, it's got a player base that are maybe more in tend to be more have employment and regular income and whatever, and more disposable income than something with a significantly younger player base overall, then they've kind of, you know, they've priced it that way, and they've been very successful pricing it that way, because this game, compared to other online free-to-play games, has got a significantly higher percentage of people that are actually willing to spend money. So that's fine. I think that's fair enough. I mean, I've always said that the microtransactions in this game are anything but it's worked for them, and honestly, it's the kind of thing where you look at it as being a cost per hour. You know, how many hours you're willing to put in, or how many hours you think you'll play the game versus the cost of a package. And when you look at it that way, you know, it's actually a pretty good deal in terms of the cost per hour of the entertainment that you're getting. And I think that's perfectly fine. You've got to look at it in that way, and if you're willing to pay the price, then sometimes these can be a decent investment, because a premium tank, once it's on your account, it's there forever. It is incredibly unlikely that Wargaming will ever remove a premium that they've sold. And they've even done ones where, and I'm thinking of the SU-76I here, where they released it in basically a state where it wasn't ready to go out on the server. It was way too good, and instead of just removing it or balancing it, what they did was immediately pull it from sale. So there are still people running around with those machines, but not very many of them. And Wargaming are more willing to just pull something from sale entirely rather than take it out the game entirely. So we're not talking about especially cheap items to begin with, and now we've got this trend of bumping up the prices even more, and it's pissing off a lot of people, and it's gotten to the point where I'm not really willing to cover these upcoming machines anymore. Not the premium ones anyway. I mean, very shortly for World of Warships, I'm going to have a test account where I'm going to get an early look at the Soviet destroyers and the German cruisers, and these are just the regular lines, and that's fine. I'm absolutely fine with that, but I'm no longer comfortable promoting vehicles, because that's what essentially I'm doing, unless I'm pointing at a machine and saying, this is really terrible, don't buy this, which I kind of did with the 59 pattern. And, you know, that's the risk Wargaming takes when they give the community contributors this kind of early access. You know, it's promotion for them, but it runs the risk of, you know, the people reviewing it saying, this isn't very good, don't buy it. But I'm not even kind of willing to give it that much publicity even now, because they keep doing this. And I suspect that the Skoda will be a regular tech tree premium, but I highly suspect the M4A1 won't. I highly suspect this is going to be in a package. And I just think we are at the point where we should be voting with our wallets and saying, let's not buy these things anymore. And this was exactly true with the Tirpitz, and I put a lot of effort into that Tirpitz preview. I like the Tirpitz, but when the prices were announced, because I don't get told these things in advance, I then basically decided, no, I'm not willing to pay that. I can't afford that. And I have ended up with it anyway, because it was gifted to me by a viewer. I'm in that position. But as a consumer, no, I was not willing to pay that price. And I think it's voting with our wallets that's going to convince Wargaming. It's not me making this video. It's not people complaining on the forums or Twitter or whatever. Although, you know, that does get taken notice of. I am absolutely 100% sure, although nobody's told me so, that this feedback will have made it back to Mint's headquarters, because it's not the regional teams that are making this level of decision. This is coming from the top. And frankly, yeah, I've had enough of it, to the extent where I'm not even going to be covering these machines. And, you know, that hurts me as well. It hurts me in terms of views, and I don't get the ad revenue for those videos and whatever, but I'm just fed up of it, frankly. So as to why they're doing this, when it seems so counterproductive, well, I have a theory, and it is literally just a theory, but the fact is that the RU player base is by far the biggest for World of Tanks. And World of Tanks is still obviously the main moneymaker for wargaming, because it is, compared to World of Warships, and certainly compared to World of Warplanes, it has by far the biggest, we said viewer base there, player base of the 3 games. And if you've, unless you've been living in a cave somewhere, you'll know that the Russian economy is not doing so great at the moment. Now, the RU region doesn't just cover Russia, obviously, but Russia alone is their biggest player base in terms of absolute numbers. Now, it's not the most valuable in terms of the amount spent per player. The last information we reliably had on this was that actually it's the NA region that spends the most per player, but you have to also look at the absolute numbers here, and even if in the RU region, and even just within Russia, if it's a far lower amount per player, there are still a lot of players, and a lot of players spending a little bit is sometimes and often worth more than just a few players spending a lot more on another server. So I suspect the current state of the Russian economy and the fact that wargaming ties their prices of premiums to the US dollar, they kind of use that as their base price, I suspect that they are just seeing a significant enough fall off of sales in the RU region that they are trying to make it up on other regions. And the other interesting bit of evidence I have to support this theory, and again it is just a theory, is the Tirpitz package. When it became available on the RU server, everywhere else it was only available as a package with a hugely inflated price. On the RU server it was available as that package with a bunch of stuff thrown in, but it was also available for as an option to just buy the ship on its own without the gold or the premium time or the port slot, or maybe it did have a port slot, I don't know, but the 300 gold cost of a port slot is rather insignificant in this context. But that alone, plus this increase in the vast increase in the number of packages we've seen for sale, in fact it's almost becoming the norm, which is basically why I'm doing this video. I think that, yeah, they're trying to keep their, and this is, you know, it's an understandable decision from a corporate point of view, but from a consumer point of view it is absolutely not to be encouraged. In fact, I would go so far to say as this has been anti-consumer, the way they've been bumping up the packages. But yeah, so I don't think it's just pure greed. I think this is for a specific reason, but I think as consumers we have to say, well, actually no, we're not okay with this, and I'm not okay with this, hence doing this video. So although this lot of premiums, the M4A1 and the Skoda T40, are certainly, I think, a lot more balanced, and if they were just priced as regular mediums, worth more the money than the last lot we have, the 59 pattern, which again sold as a €50 package, and hell no, it's not worth that. The Canoni Jagdpanzer, I don't think it was that expensive, but again, not worth the price they were asking. And the Scorpion, I can't even remember what they were asking for that, but that one was okay, but again, a very bumped up price, and again, only available for a limited period of time. No, I absolutely think that wargaming are, you know, this might give them a short-term boost in their cash flow, but in the long term, this is them shooting themselves in the foot rather badly. And I think it is definitely not to be encouraged by us consumers, because if we're, you know, suddenly okay with paying the price of a AAA game from somebody like Ubisoft or whoever for a single premium vehicle, you know, it's digital goods. It's not like all these price rises are as a result of an increase in manufacturing costs or something. Then yeah, wargaming is just, you know, I don't want this to become the norm, and it is becoming the norm, and I am not okay with that. So yeah, like I said, if they offer me, you know, I'm probably not going to be doing these premium preview videos in future, unless the prices, you know, return to a more normal level, unless we start to see these become normal premiums as we've known them in the past, where it's available in the gift shop for a patch, and then it's available in the game from there on out. And until such point as that goes back to being normality, I think I'm just gonna decline to do these previews anymore. And you know, I was all set to sit down and do these preview videos anyway, and then I saw that Warspite package that popped onto the Warships shop this morning, and that was literally the straw that broke the camel's back. I was just like, yay, the Warspite! I might actually consider. Oh wait, no, €50 for a tier 6. No, just no, Wargaming, just no. So, if you have made it all the way through this, congratulations. There has been absolutely zero gameplay whatsoever. It's just been me ranting and rambling on for 15 minutes. And I hope you take the message to heart, and I'm sure many of you feel the same way. And I know free-to-play games have to pay for themselves somehow. But if it is the case that they then decide that they're going to make it pay by adopting a very anti-consumer pricing model, then I'm not okay with that. And I hope you're not okay with that too. So if you agree with me, you can hit the like button. You can leave any comments, any thoughts you might have below, because I'm sure this will generate a few comments for discussion. You can hit the subscribe button. You can check out my Twitch channel, which I'm doing as a thing now. I'm streaming occasionally. And as always, stay tuned for more.